everybody. Welcome to another episode on Alto Call MAFS. Today it is a non married at first sight podcast. I have a guest with me, Raya. She had Rachel from the Houston season of Married at First Sight, and I enjoyed the episode. And she is a pop culture, how do you say it, aficionado as well. And I was like, oh my God, I have to talk to her, especially when she said she loved Traitors. I need to talk about Traitors. And she really got me when she said she watched the Tyson Fury show, which I don't know a lot of people who watch that show. I did. So I was like, okay, we have to come on and get that. It was a good episode. Oh, wait. Hi, Rhea. How are you?
Oh,
Welcome to the
hello,
show.
hello. I didn't know like if I could talk. I'm like so excited to chat. And yeah, the Tyson Fury show, like I feel like I'll just like watch anything and everything. But yeah, it was cute.
Yes, it was good. It was a good show. I don't know if it's been a while, so I don't think there's going to be a season
It's
two. But
season two. But I do think that they should do what I said and follow
mhm,
Tommy Fury and
yeah,
Molly May and kind of like intertwine like
that's together.
Tommy Fury take the lead too because he's like actually boxing.
Yeah,
So sorry. Tyson is retired.
yeah.
Tommy's still boxing, so they should kind of go that way,
Yeah,
in
I
my
don't know.
opinion.
I wonder if it'll be tough because Tommy is still, how do I say it, low level box. Like Tyson is,
Yeah,
he,
like amateur, like
yeah,
still starting out.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's only got like four. Well, as the last time I checked, sure, it's more now, but it might be just 10 people in his entire life and stuff. So that might be hard to get. But Tyson is pretty damn huge to get a show out of it. And I don't know if Molly May would want to
be
do it
on there.
together. So,
Well, I don't know. I'm not caught up on her. I'm waiting for that fourth episode to drop
yeah.
because she addresses Molly May and Tommy Fury make out during Christmas Eve. Like that just happened or New
Yeah.
Year's
New
Eve that
Year's
just
Eve.
happened. And I like need her to address it. Like I'm glad actually that it's in real time that we're actually gonna get like her side of the story.
Yeah.
Um I mean, we've all been there and they have a child and they were engaged. And you know what I've come to terms with about relationships? And I know we're going to talk about Southern hospitality and Emmy and Will.
Hmm.
You know, let them. If you're happy, babe, who am I to judge? Because I'm in the trenches out here and if you want to go be with a cheating man and if you're okay with it, I'm not saying that negatively, like I'm not saying that like condescendingly, I'm just like if you are okay with it and you have made that agreement, live
Yeah.
in it, live in that truth, babe. Like
Yeah.
I'm just not here to judge. Like if Molly May wants to get back with Tommy Fury, if Emmy wants to put her head in the sand and be with Will, let him.
I'm a fence rider. I believe in let 'em, but I'm a judge that the hell out of you.
I know, no, like because I totally understand like you want the best for your friend, right?
Yeah.
And I just think that I've come some not like most of the time, not even sometimes, most of the time I'm like fighting harder than my friend. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I am fighting harder for your relationship than you are. And like
Hmm.
I'm exhausted. So like if
Yeah.
you're okay with it, I'm just, oh wow, that's crazy. So do you want to go to brunch? Like I'm kind of over it. Like I yes, I don't want to see my friend hurt, but if my friend is okay getting hurt, then I mean not physically. I'm
No,
saying,
no, no. I
like
know what you mean.
cheated on or I don't know, up and down, their needs aren't getting met or something. Like, babe, if they're okay with it, I don't know what to tell you because they're not going to listen to me. You know what I mean? Like the thing is like how many times have you tried to save your friend and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I am gonna listen to you on the first try." Never, never,
I know. It's
never.
like if you like it, I love it.
Right, right.
So,
So,
okay. So we mentioned earlier, like I said, Raya's podcast actually is Coffee Meets Vodka. You can find
yes.
that anywhere. So today we're going to go deep into Traitors,
Oh
and then
God, I'm
we'll
ready. I'm
also
ready.
discuss, like she said, Southern Charm and Southern Hospitality. So, where are we
Oh,
on Traitors. Oh, before we get into that, Rhea, I just want to say, like, another conversation for another day. The one thing I disagreed with you on is Meghan Markle, but that's a whole conversation that's gonna take forever.
Oh,
So just
okay.
wanted to share that, like, with you and
Oh,
Rachel, I disagreed with
God,
that.
you leave me on pins and needles.
So
Okay, okay. You'll have to come on my show and we'll have to discuss.
okay.
No, and I love that because, yeah. Oh my God, now you opened a can of worms. No, and I love that. I'm not say I really truly to my core am not a hater. I want to say that, but okay, we'll talk. We'll put a pin in
Yes.
that. We'll talk about it on the show. Um, dude, traders. Let's get into it. Where do we start?
I don't know where to start because
Oh,
I am knee deep in Traders US. Traders UK just ended. It's not here in America, guys. Don't ask how I watch it, but it just ended.
no, I think it
And
is on Peacock.
season 3, it's
Oh,
like
oh,
live. They
oh,
just
live?
ended.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, they
Okay.
ended on Friday. And I only bring that up because I'm worried that a twist that they introduced in the UK might be done in the US. And I think it totally messed up the UK season. And I'm not going to give any spoilers. If you want when we're done, I can tell you, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone when it finally comes because I see that they do some of the games and some of the things are similar that they did in the season for the US. And I'm trying to see how that is going to play out. But
You're saying the end, like it's looking the same and like a similar outcome with the end.
no, in terms of a game, what's it called?
Oh, like a
The
strategy or
strategy thing, yeah, they put a twist this season that kind of ruined it for.
like towards the end? What's the
Yes.
twist? Okay,
Yes.
okay,
I
okay,
don't want to give
okay.
spoilers. I can tell you when we're
Oh
done
my
if
God.
you want
Okay.
to. But if they introduce that also to the US version, that's going to be, depending on who's left, that's going to be a huge game changer because it was a huge game changer. In my own opinion, it ruined people's games. And it's a big
Mm.
twist that they added.
Well, that's interesting because unpopular opinion might be popular. I don't know. You're getting the exclusive thought right now. I think, and I want to say this, I want to preface this with I'm obsessed with Traitors. I think it's a great show. I couldn't
Mhm.
say, better things about it. The whole thing is just, I'm not really a strategist, so like it's amazing.
Mhm.
Do I dare say season 3 US Traders is in its flop era?
Yeah,
I'm so annoyed every episode.
I don't
And
think
it's only
it's.
been what, four or five?
Yes, 4, I believe, at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in its flop era, but if you're gonna rank the seasons, it's the last.
It's the last. I
It's
mean,
not
yeah,
gonna
not flop,
be.
meaning
Yeah,
like canceled, just like this is like the worst season, which it's still extremely good. Like, if you've
yeah.
never seen Traders before, I'm sure you'll think that it's amazing. But it's definitely, if we're gonna rank it, like I watched season 2. Oh my God, I was gripped. I was gripped. I was gripped. It was so good. And like, I loved all of the people that they chose. And I was so excited for this year, for them choosing, we have Dorinda, we have Chanel Ion. I'm not the biggest fan. I think she's like a little like, and I'm all about extra, like, but I think she's like a little too flamboyant, like just like way too like caricature version of herself.
Is she any
But
more flamboyant than Dorinda though? Because I see that argument all the time, and it's like Dorinda's pretty out there, and I'll let
Dur-
you know what I
I
think
think it's
afterward.
an I think it's like maybe an age thing too, because like Dorinda maybe gets a pass because she's older
They're
and
the same
like
age.
kind of drunk.
This is
What do you
because
mean they're the same age?
last season of Dubai, Chanel doesn't really know how old she is, so they did the tooth thing or whatever, and they said she might be. How old is Dorinda? Well, 48,
Like
50.
50
How old is Dorinda?
something.
Yeah. They
50
said she
something.
might be. Chanel is between 48 or 50 or 51 or something, could based on her tooth or something like that, because she's not sure. So I get it. I know Chanel might
Oh.
be annoying and flamboyant. I get it. I'm a fan and I get that she's extra. And I know there's an added layer, being African, and, it's part of our culture. We're usually loud. But Dorinda, to me, is also extra, especially when she's drunk, which she is most of the time.
And she's
So,
mean
and she's
too, or she
mean.
can be mean.
So,
Yeah,
and I think recency, not recency bias, the opposite of that. A lot of people have forgotten her last season. She was insufferable. So I'm very
Dorinda.
surprised. Yes, I'm very surprised. People are like, "Oh, we missed Dorinda. We missed that." And I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I think I wanted to ask, what gives you joy about the Traitors? Because I think that gives insight into what people are looking for from the Traitors. They're different things.
Yes. So, well, and that being said, like I was saying, I wasn't, I quote, a huge fan, but I wanted to see Chanel Ion. She has the one liners. Dorinda
Hmm.
has the one liners.
Hmm.
Wells is a great host. Bob
Hmm.
the drag queen. Like, I understand. Yes, I want to get a traitor out. Not
Hmm.
him, though, like right now.
I was fine with it.
I mean, at least he lasted longer than Dorinda. But my issue with this season is that they're getting rid of like all of the
The
quote
entertainment.
personality hires.
Yeah.
Like they're getting rid of the reasons why we're watching the show. And like, babe, I'm not watching Survivor. I'm not watching Big Brother. Like, I'm not that type of um game watcher or whatever. Like, I don't really
Competition reality.
competition, yeah, like I don't really watch stuff like that. Yes, I grew up obviously on Real World, Road Rules, the challenge, all that stuff. But even like the challenge, like Real World was good because they were like living together and like, there was interpersonal relationships and they had like stuff like that. But like the challenge kind of same thing, but then it like got old to me because it was just so rah rah rah.
My heart is breaking that you don't like those because those are my number one.
Actually, I was excited that Wes was on. And people are like talking smack about him that he's like a horrible person. I personally don't remember him being super bad.
He was.
So
He's
forgive
just
me.
changed
Is
now.
it
Yeah.
about his relationship or
No, he was just, I mean, all the men were pretty terrible. And then I think it goes to the point that I was going to say. So we're saying all of this, like, I think what I was asking is some people, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said all the competitive people are making it too strategy focused. And I never actually even thought about it because I watch all, because a lot of
right?
people don't watch some and don't watch, only watch one side of either part. And I'm a part of each fandom. I see the Big Brother Survivor people talking, and I see the other ones talking about it too. And I'm like, but the reality, the competitive people also come with the entertainment because they need that also on their own shows. It's not just competition. Because look at the way Rob sent Bob the drag queen home. He didn't have to do that, but he understands that this is a show. He knows
No,
that there's a target
that
on his back,
mhm.
so we still get the fun and the entertainment, but when we have no strategists like season one, where Siri won when it was split between reality stars and regular people, it frustrated me so much because I'm like, it's a game. Like we still need that, but I think we get both with the competitive people. We get the entertainment and we still get the strategy. And then I get it why we have like the housewives and stuff because we need the personalities also, but I don't think it's, I don't know, strategy, too strategy focused because Pilot Pete,
No, it's so
he,
good. But wait, I want to go back. I love the mix. I love the mix of
yeah,
having the challenge and Survivor. But my point in saying all of that is they're getting rid of like first of all, it was hunting of the housewives.
yeah.
Hated that. Second of all, now they're coming for like just all of the Bravo and other, you know,
The
Chriselle and Nikki Bella
non-competitive
and
people,
not
yeah.
non-competitive people that like we're hey, like you're literally on Peacock and this is why we're actually watching it. Danielle is a horrible traitor. Horrible traitor. I'm like, you couldn't be far like the word. They are not listening to anything Carolyn says. Like every point Carolyn has made, I absolutely wholeheartedly agree. And I think she's not only playing the game, but she's also having the other lens of like, let's also make good TV. Why is
Who,
Tom still
Carolyn?
there? Yeah, because she was like, I don't want to get rid of Bob. I don't want to get rid of Robin. I don't want to get rid of Dorinda. That's a horrible idea. I don't. Why is Sam Asghari still there? Why is Tom Sandoval still there? Why they're gonna charade their way into the top six? And I'm like, they haven't even said two fucking words the last 5 episodes. Something good.
I just think yes, they're skating by, but I think it's frantic. And we have the vantage point of we know. They
Yeah,
don't know. They're operating in paranoia. So they're trying to get people out. Caroline gives me anxiety. I just even from Survivor, I just never been a fan. I mean, just
really.
know for someone like me, I there's a lot of I think I'm more of a hater than people that I like. There are more people I don't care for than people that I actually like. But
Hmm.
Caroline, I keep mixing it
Caroline.
up. She's a good person to be a traitor because everyone is like, absolutely, she's not going to be a traitor. But it's so
Yeah,
funny
like
to
she's too
me.
quirky. Like she
Yeah,
would give it away immediately, and she's like,
yeah,
I'm freaking out. Like she's so funny. I enjoy that aspect of her like comedic relief, like her comedic timing. I'm 99% sure it's natural, but whether it's
yeah,
natural or not, I think her game is better too. And yes, I
yeah,
think Boston Rob is a great game player, but Boston Rob is playing the game on his own. Like
yeah.
he is not playing with the Traitors, and you saw that with Bob the drag queen. And I think it is interesting when they go pit it, when they
Against each
pit
other.
themselves against each other, right?
Yeah,
But now we have, it left us on a cliffhanger of saying, I think Carolyn said, she was like,
hmm
now it's just the Traitors want to kill each other. Like she's like, we're not even playing the game, we're just fighting each other, which I just don't. I don't know. I wouldn't make. I think Danielle is like, she fucked that challenge up with the dust
yeah,
so bad.
yeah.
Like literally, they were like, "What are you doing?" And then she's like, "Oh yeah, And then I can't believe after that challenge, they still voted Nikki.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a different viewpoint because they've convinced themselves that someone in the casket was a traitor. And I find that in the traders across all franchises, once they have an idea that someone is a traitor, they
Mm-hmm.
cannot shake it. They convince
Yeah.
themselves and they're all that. And it was like either Nikki or Sierra. And I think that Chriselle she was absolutely right. She's the one who moved the needle. That's
Yeah.
another person I don't care for. I think Chriselle is the
Yeah.
villain on Selling Sunset and here.
Oh, you do.
Yes,
Oh, okay. We can
absolutely.
talk about that too.
Absolutely. Like I think she's
I
the
hate.
villain
I
and
hate Selling Sunset, but
it's the worst reality show.
literally, I'm in real estate too, so I do the podcast full time and real estate,
Yeah.
and it's just it's like not even good. Like
Yeah, it's
it's
not good.
sorry, I don't get me started on
It's
that,
just
but yeah,
pretty. It's just pretty. It's
barely.
packaged
Like
pretty, but it's not the best show. But I think Chriselle moved the needle for everyone and they're like, well, no one wants to vote against the house, well, except Dylan. And if we're gonna pick someone, let's start with the people. So Sierra is right. Like, if they don't kill her, she's probably gonna be next. So let's get that doubt, out of our mind. So I think that's what it is. Yes, Danielle fumbled and she's still fumbling. And
fumbling.
this is the issue with, how do I say it? It's not nostalgia because the same thing happened with Dan. These people are icons in Big Brother. I will never take that away from them, but that was also many, many years ago. They're
Mm-hmm.
getting their feet wet. Yes, Danielle just did Reindeer Games where Brittany fucked her over, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a new era. People are playing differently. You have to get used to it. It's like being rusty and getting your feet wet all over
Mm-hmm.
again, but in some way it is entertainment.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think going back to your point, and like, I love the mixed cast. Like, I don't think that they should do, all Bravo celebrities, all this and that.
Yeah.
Like, I love their structure of how they do the show. I like the way that they're doing the cast. I like that it's kind of really, I don't want to call, anybody who's not a gamer dumb, right? But it's like really strategic people who do this as their livelihood. And then you have, kind of the other different type of entertainment piece that is kind of like this. It's kind of like the nerd and like the beauty queen, right? Guy,
Mhm.
girl, genderless. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Mhm.
you have the strategists, the gamers, and then you have like the personality beauty queens, whatever, for like the Bravo celebrities, the Netflix, the
Mhm.
WWE, like the actors of it all. And I'm not saying they, and I think it's interesting because, Robin was like pretty boring on Potomac. I liked Robin, but I understood when people were saying that like she's boring. Um, I thought if they're gonna vote anybody off, they fucking should have voted. If they wanted to get a housewife, they should have voted Robin off first and not
Hmm.
Dorinda. We didn't even get a sloppy roundtable from her.
Hmm.
And but see, that shows another side of Robin too. That Robin can be strategic as well, which was nice to see that she's not just a pretty face per se, right?
Wait,
So,
Raya, how did you think she was strategic? She was so loud and so wrong.
oh, Robin.
Yeah.
I just mean that like she spoke up, whereas I feel like on Potomac she's always on her phone and she's like, "Wait, what? Why are you guys yelling? Oh, I'm gonna record that." Like she clocks in kind of barely per each scene. Like
Yeah, I know. I just felt like it was kind of her game was similar to her on Potomac. Like she was always so loud and so wrong. If it was to yell at Wendy, if it was to support Giselle in her
right,
wrongs,
right,
if it
right.
was to protect her silly husband or to go
Husband,
on
yeah,
Karen, she was always or protect Mia. She was just loud and wrong. But I
and
think they
Chris,
went for Dorinda because I do think of the housewives who would be a traitor. I would think Dorinda would be a
yeah,
traitor. So
Dorinda or Dolores, to be honest, one of those
yeah.
two. But
But the
I
thing
think
is,
it's too obvious.
but that to us. But I think that's the other thing. They don't watch these shows. Bob the drag queen said he had no idea who Dorinda was. So, and no, no, no. And it's possible there is a divide when it
Yeah,
comes to entertainment. Like there's something called black famous. There's a lot of things like maybe in the black culture, everyone's like, oh, we know who this person is. And then they come out and the other part of the world is like, oh, we've never heard of this person before.
right.
And that happens vice versa. So Bob
Hmm.
didn't know who Dorinda was. And I believe a lot of people did not believe him because she's so iconic to one half of the world. So they're voting. I guarantee Danielle did not know who she was
Oh
either.
no, Danielle, I don't think I
So
don't think the gamers know shit. Like I don't think they know anything. They can't spell anybody's name. Like nobody knows anything.
So yeah, so then the flip side, some of these people know the housewives. Like even when Wes came in, Wes was like, they have no idea who I am, which is an advantage because if you do know Wes, you would automatically think he was a traitor. He's also like traitor material. Chanel was like,
Hmm.
who are you? What show do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, coin. Yeah,
so
yeah.
he can go incognito. So I think that's part of also why she was nominated. The same way Dorinda did not know that Sam's ex-wife was Britney Spears. She was having a conversation with him. Oh, you'll be fine. And then the other Britney was like, it's Britney Spears. Like you can't. So that's part of plays into it. You and I, we watch a lot. We know the people. They have
Yeah.
no idea, and they're going blind and they're like, oh, this person looks like they would be a traitor.
I also I can't get over them thinking Sierra is a traitor. Like has she even had barely any screen time other than the round table? Like, I'm like, what is she doing? And I love Sierra. I love Summer House. Like, she reminds me, like, almost verbatim copy and paste of my best friend. And I tell her that all the time. I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching you on TV. Like, you know what I mean? I miss you because she's in Denver. But like, I love Sierra, but I'm like, babe, what about her is giving traitor vibes? Like,
The
I guess maybe
speech.
like a Dan, yeah, like a Dan, like she's like maybe not talking. She's kind of more observing and she was in the coffin. I don't know, but
I
I'm
think it's the
like,
speech she gave. That's what started it all. Because
which one?
apparently, when she was in the coffin, so apparently
Oh,
she is vocal and curses a lot. That was Derek's. The BB
oh, yeah,
fandom, we
yeah.
don't like
Hmm.
Derek. So
Yeah.
saying that she curses a lot. So she was in the coffin, and when Jeremy, and Nikki was supposed to give a speech, instead of saying something, she was just like, I'm just gonna come find you and all that. And they were like, oh, you're saying that because you're a traitor and you already know who it is, so you don't have to fight that hard. So
Mm,
now they just think that she's a traitor. And then now that Nikki's gone, they're like, we have to clear all doubts and get that out there. And also Sierra's not a warm person. You know how some people are like warm and
yeah.
cuddly and funny, whatever. She's not. She doesn't warm up to people easily. So
Yeah.
that might be what they're reading into it. But yeah. So I think that's why. But I want to ask, if you could pick, because I think part of the problem, I don't know if it's a problem, is the traders that they picked, but they also have no idea how they're going to perform on this show because it
Hmm.
doesn't always translate. If you could pick three of the traders, if you were out, well, the producer is not Alan,
Uh-huh,
who would
uh-huh.
you have picked from this cast to be the traders?
I do like Bob as a traitor, Bob the drag queen.
Okay.
I thought he was a good traitor.
Okay.
Um, God, you stumped me. Dolores,
Okay.
and I would probably pick like Gabby.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
And I don't know if that's, I'm really not good at like producing.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, but because I think Tom Sandoval would be like too deer in the headlights. Sam would not do it, or maybe like Brittany from
Big
the
Brother.
blonde, yeah, Big Brother. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I think Dorinda's too obvious. You know what I mean? Chanel Ayan too obvious. I think Dylan Efron, I love his role because he's a pilot Pete 2.0. Like
yeah.
I was obsessed, and I'm obsessed even though like we know what I think is so interesting, even though we know the outcome, well, we don't know the outcome of the show, but I guess we know like some of the answers, right? Like
Mhm.
we're privy to who's a traitor, who's a faithful.
Mhm.
Like I and even if like Dylan Efron or Pilot Pete are like really on the traitor, like it's still not boring because the way that they're like trying to figure it out, and I'm like
Mhm.
yelling, I'm like, you're right, you're right, you're right, go for it. You know, so I really love
Yeah.
them. I'm enjoying their game.
Yeah. I think it will be difficult because you just never know. Some people are too obvious. Like someone
Who
like
would you
Tony.
pick?
Um, I think Gabby is a good choice because I never would have suspected that. I think I would have picked Bob Harper
Okay.
because I need someone that's really, really incognito.
Uh-huh.
Um, Definitely I'm okay with Rob. Rob cannot come into this as anything else. In fact, I can't remember if I was telling a friend or saying this out loud. I do believe that he had that in his contract because he was supposed to be on last season and he didn't come last season.
Oh, for
Um,
traders?
mhm. I
Oh.
usually hear like the leaks of like the cast and people
Mm-hmm.
they're considering. So he at the last minute he didn't come in, which would have been
Mm.
interesting because I think him and Sandra have like a little rivalry
Beef.
going on,
I
properties
loved
and all that.
her. Yeah.
So I think that there is no way Rob comes into here as a faithful. I'm sure he told them like if you're not making me a traitor, don't call me. So
And that's
I'm
also probably why he came in fourth. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was the quote, like twist of,
yeah,
the four. Yeah.
the
So,
four of them coming out, it was
mm-hmm.
unnecessary as far as I'm concerned, but they
Mm-hmm.
needed Rob because Rob needed to corral all the traders out there. But the
Mm-hmm.
gift that Rob has is technically Wes knows, Derek knows that he's a trader for sure. No one wants to come after him. They said it multiple times. If you take a swing, you better not miss because Rob is really good. And then the other thing he has in his back pocket is Rob is built to be a cult leader. I have seen him. He played Survivor like 4 or 5 times, or how many other times he played. You know he's a threat. You know he's savage, and yet they all look at him like he's a god. Like I just want to be on his good side. Like what Sandoval said, and when Sandoval is like, "I'm just gonna listen to whatever this man says, man." Like he's just, and then Dylan is like, "I trust you. I trust you. I'm just gonna go." It's the gift that Rob has.
What do you think about that? I mean, obviously that's good for, if this is your career as like a quote game player, but like what do you think about that in real life? Like that's a little sinister, wouldn't you say? Like that's extremely unsettling, don't you think, to like have that much of like pull on people?
Okay, so this is where I say if I had to pick, I'm on like the gamer side. Like when MJ was getting at CT and Trishelle, you did this to me, yada yada. It's a game. Get out of here. Like I had no
Mm-hmm.
sympathy for her. My co-host at the time was like, no, I understood where she was coming from, but I'm always on the gamer side. I do think you can separate it. You have to play a game. I think CT said it like competitive. Like if you have a friend and if your friend asks you to do something, you have to keep friendship and the game separately. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Rob met his wife on the game show, so he's
Mm-hmm.
not all
I looked at him.
terrible.
Yeah, I looked
Yeah,
up yesterday. Yeah.
with Amber and all that stuff. So I think Rob just masters the best game players are people who are able to separate the game from real life. Even Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Bananas, who was taken out first last season.
Which that sucked too. Yeah. I
Mm,
really wanted to see them together, just the dynamic.
if Johnny was around, CT would never won. So I'm
Mm.
okay with it. I will always pick
Hmm.
CT over bananas. But
Yeah.
I think Rob, I think people are able to separate the game. Very few people know how to do that, but I think Rob is able to do that. The only time I've ever thought that it was sinister, whenever the UK version of this season comes out, there is going to be someone on there that you cannot convince me that this is not how she is
In
outside
real
the
life.
show, because uh, it was deep, and they're not even competitive game players, which makes it worse for me, because at least if you're playing a game, you've been doing this is part of your life, but you're just a regular old person out there and you're doing this so dark. That's where it gets really, and this is your first time. That's where I
Yeah.
could be like, okay, that's concerning. But with Rob, not really. I just think this is his life. This is his game. He's been doing this for like what, 20 years. So
Hmm.
I think he's fine with that. But honestly, much like Traitors is no rhyme, no reason. I think that's also frustrating. It's a
Hmm.
gut feeling. Your gut is 99% going to be wrong. The
Hmm.
person looked different, or like Nikki, what did Chriselle say? That Nikki shifted or something?
Yeah, like her energy. She's like, I feel energies, and like did this, and it's like I love that meme going around. It was like anybody on Traders, I feel energy. Like couldn't be more wrong. It's like
So who are the three people you are rooting for right now?
I mean, Dylan Efron. I feel like
Hmm.
that's the only. I don't think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Because I think he's too much of a threat,
Yeah.
like Pilot Pete. But other than that, I'm not really rooting for anybody. I'm not as emotionally invested as I was last season,
Hmm.
just because I feel like they got rid of all of the people that I was interested in. I mean, I'm sorry. No, Wells, sorry.
Wells.
Wells, I thought, he probably could make it pretty far too. Um
Wait, do you mean Wes? Because Wells is gone.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Oh,
if Wells wasn't gone, he could
yeah.
probably make it pretty far.
Yeah.
Um, Wes is, I mean, it's probably going to be the game. It's probably going to be like Wes, Boston Rob, unless he gets voted off this week. I don't
Yeah.
know because they both put targets on his back, so I don't know. But he also is charismatic, like you said. So maybe he's really good at deflecting. So I'm interested to see this week. Like the game is heating up, but
Yeah.
other than that, I think it's going to be. Dude, Carolyn might be in the final three. I think
Yeah.
Carolyn could be in the final three. I think it's gonna probably be Boston Rob if he doesn't get voted off, and then Wes, Wes and Carolyn for sure. Top two or three.
I think those are good guesses. I I they would be dumb to not vote Rob out. It just depends on who has the balls to
To
gather,
say it,
yeah, all the votes
and
out
who can
there.
be like more convincing.
Yeah, on that. I was rooting for Wells and Nikki. So that's the thing. Some my people have left, but I'm still okay. But maybe because I have more people
Yeah, like
that are
I'm
still.
okay. I just like I'm still gonna watch it and like talk about it, but I'm like I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed. And what kind of irritated me is like, and I understand, maybe it is real. Who knows? But like if I was production, I would be like, hey, like keep Dorinda at least one full cycle, you know?
Yeah.
Because I have to say, like, we were so excited for the Bravo celebrities that they picked. Like, and even having Tom Sandoval on there for like, discourse and then the whole Sierra and Lindsay and Dorinda thing, like I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to see if we could hear about that. I mean, who knows? But like, there was so much talk about it. And then we're watching it and we're like, she didn't even get a full episode. And then Chanel Ion gets voted off. And then like her and Dylan had like a cute Phaedra and CT moment, like relationship. And I
Hmm.
wanted to see that kind of bloom more. And, you know, um, they really, if they would have kept, and then Bob, Bob the drag queen, he's fine, but if they would have kept them, I just feel like it would have at least had more of like that ammo, that uphill
Yeah.
like climax that it did, like where we get the oh not my burgalicious like with Phaedra and what did she call CT,
Castle
her
Daddy.
castle daddy, And like I think that would be between Chanel Ayan and Dylan Efron. Like that would be it would be something like that. And
Yeah.
I just feel really like upset that production wasn't like, hey guys, I'm not saying you can't do this, but let's like how they do like puppeteer. You couldn't have puppeteer just for one episode in a different direction. It
Listen,
just kind of annoys me.
I think it was wrong from a game move to vote out Dorinda. Again, she was a meat shield. You could have just put her
Yeah.
on there and they already suspect her anyways and just protect yourself, then buy yourself some time on there. But
Yeah.
I'm in the minority of people where, I mean, she's gone, she's gone. I don't feel sadness, I don't feel mad. And I have a strong feeling they'll bring her back like they brought Kate back. I think she'll be back next season because of how much outrage. And if she does come back, they might have to make her a traitor so she stays longer.
Hmm.
But that's the only
Could you
thing that I'm
imagine
thinking
her in the turret? Uh, okay, guys. So who do you want to kill tonight? I mean, murder. Who? Yeah, who are you voting off the island? Like, could you just imagine? Like, I just don't think she's gonna have
of.
any.
That's a good
I
Dorinda
think it would be so funny
impression.
too. Thank you. I think it would be so funny too if they really did make her a traitor, honestly, and she's just like in the turret being like, "Oh my god, so what did you think of how Boss and Rob said that to me today? I mean, what's going on? And Dolores, look at us. We've been through so much on the Housewives, and now we're on a raft in the middle of Scotland. Who would have thought? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, we're supposed to be like voting people off right now. Like, shut up, Like,
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. It would be funny. And I'm not saying she's not problematic, like for sure. I just think like I don't know.
But it could be a case, Rhea, like, you know how everybody was hyping up, well, for those of us, like, whether it was Danielle, whether it was Dan or something, and then they don't live up to whatever it is everyone's
Right, like
thinking.
Dan was a really a letdown
So
too. I was like, he's pretty good, and then I was like, yeah, he's not talking. Like I was kind of on their side about that.
so that could be the case with Dorinda, but it's good. She has all the expectations now and she could come back. And everybody that faults people for voting the housewives forget that it's the Phaedra effect. Phaedra was a housewife, Phaedra was a good trader, and they just didn't want it. It's Peacock, it's their family network, and they're just like, we're just gonna stop this before it happens. Maybe they chose the wrong one, like you said. Like Chanel was not a threat to anyone. Like no
No,
one. She had no idea what was
no.
happening.
I could see Dorinda being a threat also by like accident. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Be like, like she's saying something willy nilly. Like I understand that, but yeah, Chanel Ion, like she should not have been voted off. And like I do really like their on theme fashion. To be honest, I guess it's in their contract. Like I thought it was just like I didn't realize that they were like all doing that like all the seasons, but like I really love that they're doing the Scottish kind of
Mhm.
like academia outfits. Like I actually really love it.
Yeah.
I love the
I mean, it's
theme.
cute, but I think it's
Yeah.
just I don't want to use the word. This is overused in reality TV. The narcissistic thing of being a celebrity or something. They don't want to be outdone. So they've seen that everybody
Oh
else is
yeah.
doing that and dressing up, and they're like, I'm not going to be the one that's out there slacking.
That's
So
not
I'm
doing
just
it.
gonna,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're just gonna
I
bring it
guess you're
back.
right because Boston Rob and Wes, like some of the guys aren't really doing like the whole
No,
Scottish thing. Like, yeah.
competitive reality.
Or
They don't
like
care.
UK. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care. But yeah, I do think Carolyn has a good path because no one suspects her unless a traitor turns because Danielle wants to do it. I think Danielle is going to be sloppy, but we'll see how the season ends. But for now, like, I'm still enjoying it. I get the concerns because I have to twist my brain a little and look at it from another point of view of like, hey, there's some people who are watching for this reason and they
Hmm.
do need to appease people for that reason. It's like you said, it's still the number one, unscripted shows. So I think
Yeah,
they're
no,
doing
I'm
something
gonna
right.
watch it regardless and
Yeah.
I'm gonna support it. My I want Alana Maher on season 4 next year.
Well,
Like
it
I
depends if
think
she still has the traction. Like right now, she has the high of the Olympics, Dancing with the
I
Stars,
think
and
she still will. I think she
yeah, I
still will.
hope she still has it because
She's huge on social media,
social
on
media.
TikTok. Like she's big and I also think they should get like a TikTok star on there. Like I was trying to make my like season 4
4.
list
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, so I'm still kind of perfecting that. I was like, it's 25 women. I
Mm.
gotta mix it up. But
Yeah.
like I think it would be like I just think she needs to be on there. Like I think she's a great role model. I think she would be strategic and I want to get her on there. That's like the
Well,
only one that I was like her, you
for
know.
sure. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't even matter. You don't have to have traction. I mean, Sam is on there, so I mean, anything's possible
Yeah,
in
it's
that.
true.
Okay. Let's talk about Southern Charm.
Okay,
I
let's
can't
do
believe
it.
they made it this long. I can't believe Vanderpump ended before Southern Charm.
I'm so happy to be honest. Like I love Vanderpump like before it was super famous and not me being like I liked it before everybody else. But no, like obviously I always watched it. Stopped watching it around season like 8 or whatever, like the Rachella, like when Rachel Raquel whatever and James got engaged. I didn't watch that season. Then I watched the or then the next season was the Scandival. So I
Mhm.
don't know. I didn't watch like 1 or 2 seasons or something, and then oh my god, being a dead horse! Like I do not give a flying fuck, man. Like I'm so over it, and that's why I stopped watching because I was like, all of the good people are gone, which I'm not saying like rightfully so. Like and Jack should have been fired like season 1. You know what I mean? Like all whatever. I think sometimes Bravo is really hypocritical. It's like if you're going to
Very,
stand on business for everybody. You know what I mean?
very.
Like, it's okay if like Dorinda's on pause, but Nene Leakes is fired forever. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is that?
Was Nene
I mean,
fired?
or
I was trying to
well, she
remember.
was suing. Well, she was like suing Bravo, but then now recently, which I'm excited about, I heard rumors sometime last year about how she's potentially coming back to Bravo and like getting in their good graces again and stuff. So
Listen, Nene is great. Nene is one of the great all-time
OG,
housewives of
OG.
forever. Her attitude got stank. She overplayed her hand. She thought she was going to be famous in Hollywood. You can't Honestly, if someone sued me, my employer or
Yeah,
employee, I am not bringing you back to fuck me up again. That is a
yeah, yeah,
huge
yeah,
risk. Your insurance is high. But now she doesn't have any opportunities anymore. And I think Cynthia Erivo was like, oh, bring Nene back. And she's like, I'm open. I'm here for the fans. But you should have thought about that before. But again,
yeah.
time
I
has
think that was a
passed. She
horrible
could
move on
come
her.
back. It might not be as great as nostalgia is a motherfucker. Everybody's like, oh my God, oh my God. And then he comes in and is like, huh, this isn't what I remembered.
Yeah, I don't remember it. You're actually not that
So
funny. It's more funny when I impersonate you. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? It's more funny when me and my friend do the bit. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
So I think
I
it's better if she
I'm
stays on
with
a
you.
high where she remains the great because she could come back. It's not as good. I mean, I'm not opposed to her coming back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how this works, but if
Playing
she
it, yeah.
comes back, it might not be as great, and I would like for her to just stay on her pedestal.
Right.
But Southern Charm, I mean, they've gone through a lot of changes. Like Cameron was the
Yeah.
first to leave, and then they had everyone follow, and they're still standing right now. And how do you feel about where they stand right now? How the show is?
I didn't think it was actually going to survive every like all the OGs leaving, and after Catherine left, I was like, and not that I like liked Catherine that much, but I'm just like the OG cast, like I'm like, oh, the show's not going to survive, and now I literally don't remember any of them. I think this season is really good. I think last season is really good. Um, Obviously, I love Madison. Um I think this season is better than last season for sure. And I don't want to say hate cuz like but I strongly disliked Taylor Ann last year. I
For
still
sure.
don't like her, but I'll tolerate her. Like I could be civil. Like I would go to the puppy party and like whatever, but and I do think maybe, I'll speak for myself and not the public, but like I do think I was probably a little harsh on her just because like okay, we've all been manipulated by like a 40 something guy in our 20s. I mean, have we not? I don't know. I'm not saying it's completely Shep's fault or her fault. It takes two to tango for sure. But um, I also am one of those that are like very skewed by reality TV. Like I believe everything. Unfortunately, like I have no critical thought on reality TV. And I get like kind of really involved in it and like really passionate. So I'm like, oh my God, like how dare you, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, I forgive you too, like because we see the next episode,
Yeah.
something different. And that is a flaw in myself, and I do apologize for that. But I don't know. Taylor, she's okay this season, actually. I think she is slightly needed. I'm not going to lie. How do you feel about them can't pronounce Gaston? I mean, is that not so hilarious? Them just mispronouncing Gastoon. I just can't get over it.
Where's Gus? Now I'm stuttering.
He's,
Where's
it's,
Gaston from?
uh,
Is he
I
French
don't
or
know,
is
but
he Latino?
no, I think he's Latino. He's Hispanic, I think.
That's where my problem comes from. So Gaston, oh God, I'm just gonna call
I
him
know
G.
it's G.
G.
Taylor's
He's a terrible
boyfriend.
person. He's a terrible person. We met him from
Southern
Southern
hospitality.
Hospitality with
Hmm.
Sally. Why was Sally working at Republic if she's a medical something, something, something?
Okay,
But okay.
wait. I'm glad you brought this up because I was wondering that too. And how was she on? And somebody else went down a TikTok rabbit hole or something like that, or how she was on like another show, The Bachelor. Am I crazy? Don't quote me on that.
I think it
She was on like
was a long
another
time
show,
ago.
but then she was on um Southern Hospitality. Now she's on Southern Charm. Like, is she that entertaining? Like,
I'm
what?
okay.
Who's she fucking?
I'm okay with that because they all sleep with each other. It's just
Yeah,
that
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
discrepancy of the whole thing when she was trying to work the front door or something like that.
Yeah,
But
and then now she's not she is a neuro something or other and does like med sales, which that I'm not mad at. She has like a real job and got out of bar life. Again, no shade to that,
who
but
was working that then? I think it's a discrepancy on them. They just wanted to introduce her with Joe and they just said she was working the front door, but I don't think
oh,
she
she never
needed to
was.
do that because
Oh,
she actually does procedures like something in there. Like she's fancy. I mean, she has a house and everything. Like, I don't know. I think
yeah,
it's a
she's like getting
discrepancy,
it.
but the story was too juicy not to have her in Southern Charm because she's sleeping with Taylor's ex and all that. But anyways, my issue is if like G is Latino, they all know his name. They should know how to say it, and it could be seen as a microaggression. That yes, it could be a terrible person. Learn how to say his name. I mean, I'm the one saying G, so I probably shouldn't. But if I'm working with him, I would learn how to say his name. I'm just, I'm on a podcast now, so I'm just gotta go and Gaston. But as a coworker, you should learn how to say. And if you don't know, ask him, well, he doesn't come around the group. Ask Taylor so Taylor can
Yeah,
tell you how to say. So that's my only issue with
yeah.
it, but I get it that he's not a good person. I do think that he doesn't give green flag energy. I think there's something off about him. I do believe Sally that their relationship was deeper than what he's
Yeah,
making it out to be, where she get
always.
those
I think
pictures and all that.
Flares.
But going back to Taylor,
Hmm.
I do not apologize. I am hard on her. Do not care. Yes, I get it. She's in her 20s. She's allowed to make her mistake. But for how long is she going to make that mistake? And I don't like how they cuddle her. They cuddle
Yep,
her too much. How do you
yep.
learn if you're going to keep going? I'm sorry. I just said
Did
this. It's okay. I'm like, are you okay?
And
Like,
I actually like don't think I'll ever forgive her for the way she fucked over Olivia.
yeah. And why didn't Olivia come back?
Um, I don't know if she was necessarily asked back, or maybe she was just like taking a break because she was going through a lot with her brother and stuff. But like, I'm annoyed because she got engaged. She like met this guy and like
Mm-hmm.
engaged in like a year and a half. So like, we're missing out
Yeah.
on all of that, and we didn't get Olivia, but we get fucking Taylor Ann.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's because she's sleeping
whatever.
with Gaston. And, there's that
Yeah,
crossover because they're trying to build up Southern Hospitality to be the new Vanderpump Rules.
and it
So
will
with
be. It's
TJ
amazing.
and TJ being his best friend, and there's a crossover, and then seeing her I think the producers know she's making a mistake again. We have to
Hmm.
get this catastrophe on camera.
On film.
So I think that sells. And then because she's being too defensive, I know you haven't watched the latest episode,
Yeah.
but JT is on one. He's crazy. And
I saw a clip this
yeah.
morning.
So he
Yeah.
comes out and he says all that. and she's being like, I'm not talking about it, I don't want to talk about it, is not, and she's being so defensive, and then she leaves. That's a pet peeve of mine for reality show stars. If you're gonna do it, face it. Don't walk away, because there's no resolution, and we're stuck there watching you walk away with no answers and nothing
And now we're
happening.
stuck watching the same fight for fucking all season.
Season,
Okay, just
yeah.
squash it right now and let's move on, you know?
Yeah. I want to say something that, I don't know. We love Madison. I can't believe this is the same Madison that was Austin's ex girlfriend, and she's right here, right now.
Wait. Oh, Madison LaCroix. Okay, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Madison
yeah.
LaCroix.
Yeah, sorry. I was like,
And
Maddie Reese? Like, yeah,
no, no,
okay.
no, no.
Yeah,
And
I can't either.
they gave JT a lot of flack, which deservedly so, because he's off his rockers. I don't know what his angle is, for the call that was made to him by Madison and her husband. I don't know why people don't realize that that is weird. Why is Madison's husband calling him on FaceTime asking him what happened? Madison is
Yeah,
worried that the whole perfect husband, listen, her husband is hot, don't get me wrong, and he's great. Something is off about that marriage. I don't
he's
know if
Mormon.
what enough said. Did not know that. Or I forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
enough said. So, okay. Well, okay, lot of context. I
And
always say
and
Mormons are
he,
the
what?
fifth reality star in every
Yeah.
reality show. They're the fifth character, the hidden
Are they
character.
not having such a moment at the moment? I mean, we have
Yeah.
so many Mormon shows. I'm glued. I love cults. I'm fucking glued. Dude, but also, so not only that, but he also works. Remember, he's a fire chief or whatever
Yeah.
in California. So he
Yeah.
flies there or whatever. Is it
And comes back
California? I
every
think so.
2 weeks and something. Yeah.
Every, yeah, a couple of days. So I think he's just, and maybe they just had a conversation and she is really happy and she is like, this man's so hot and I love him so much. Like, let me over communicate and over get ahead of this. And maybe she made it a bigger deal. I'm not saying like it's probably both and it's probably him, but I'm just saying if I if my husband was going, through cancer and we were long distance and I only saw him a certain time and he just even questioned as a joke or like literally not the slightest of insecurity that I would cheat on a beautiful human being whom I love so much with like JT, I would lose my mind. So, and I'm not saying it went down like that. Those are two different scenarios. It could have been a mixture of both, but I would be so insulted if somebody,
Yeah.
even though I actually liked JT in the beginning and I was like, wow, like this guy's great. And then you know what? Towards his like the end of his first season, I was like, no, like you guys are going so hard. No, no, no. He got weird on social media. Like I followed him and I was like, is he okay? Like I rarely catch celebrities or like reality TV people like kind of venom in TV. And I'm like, babe, it's just one thing after another. What is going on? And he's a Pisces, and a Pisces man will never be it. You know what I'm saying?
I had to unfollow him because I couldn't do whatever it is that he's doing. But I think there's something missing in there. I think the whole thing of Madison's husband going through cancer, not giving her details, I just,
That's weird
something is
too.
off about that, and I think
They don't seem
that's what she's
connected.
really mad at. She's mad at the fact that JT is kind of cracking that veneer and that image that she's presenting, that, we're good, we're here, we're all that. And anytime well, I shouldn't say this because it doesn't matter, but the fact that she says she wants to have a baby, but I'm just like, I don't know if she's stalling. And then you
Yeah.
find out sometimes, like, I mean, hopefully she doesn't have any fertility issues, but I think that she went to the clinic and they said she was fine and she could start
Hmm.
trying. But I think anytime I watch like a couple on reality TV and they keep talking about having kids and then they never actually have the kids, then later on we find out, oh, something was going on. So they just didn't want to have a kid
Like Chloe and
together.
Lamar, and she was
Yes.
like, "I'll
Yes.
I'll never have a kid with him." Blah blah blah. Was that in her book? Where did I hear that from?
She gave an
Did she write a
interview.
book?
She gave
An
no, she
interview,
gave an
yes.
interview afterwards where she was saying, because the whole storyline was that she was trying to have kids, and then after
And
she
then
was
she
like, no,
couldn't
I
or
was
something.
not.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
she
yeah,
said, no,
yeah.
I was not, like I wasn't
Yeah,
gonna have
yeah,
kids
yeah.
and something like that. So I think something is off with the Madison thing. And where do
Wait,
you
can we
stand? Oh,
go ahead? No, go ahead.
where do you stand on the Craig Austin conversation, Craig not wanting to drink, Austin saying he's not being a good friend and all that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think I'm all for a sober lifestyle. I'm not sober, but I don't drink like that much. And this whole sober movement is kind of coming up with, the run clubs and like pickleball, and like people are just trying to be more active and like health conscious. I think Shep and Austin, and if Austin doesn't watch it, he's going to end up like Shep, and Shep ended up like Whitney without the money. And well, that's not entirely true, but you know, I just think that they have Peter Pan syndrome. They refuse to grow up. I commend Craig for actually growing,
Hmm.
and I I don't know if I love Paige. I'm not going to give Paige 100% credit. Like, I think Craig really has always like kind of, once he figured out what he wanted to do, and he did Sewing Down South, it gave him like direction, and he
Yeah.
found something that he could be creative, and he really loves it, and he likes being a Bravo celebrity, and he takes it really serious, and he takes it as like a job as well, and the other guys don't. And I agree with the way that Craig and Austin kind of handled Shep during BravoCon last year. And I just think sometimes like you have got to grow up and grow out, and not everybody is going to be with you on that next step. And I just think if you guys were true friends, you would hold space for that. You guys are in different phases. Yeah, Craig's not going to be doing shots at, the Piggly Wiggly every weekend. Okay. Like, he has companies to run and things to do. You don't even show up to their podcast, Austin. You know what I mean? Because you're too
Hmm.
hungover all the time. So, and I never have seen Trop Hop. By the way, this season was the first time that we have heard about Trop Hop in a while, like a
I think
couple
he
of
stopped
seasons.
producing. He stopped producing for a while, but he's back in production, I believe,
Okay, but here we go with the
now.
inconsistency again. You can't build a business, and you have all this potential. And this is what my issue is with like Real Housewives at this time. We're in a different age of marketing, social media, TV than we were in 2006 when the Housewives came, right? Babe, come with your business plan, actually. Like, I actually need you to come with the gift baskets and come with all this stuff. Like, Austin, you have, like, we're still waiting on She by Sheree joggers. You know what I mean? Like, 15 years later. Austin could have this huge Bravo following if he would stay consistent in his beer or whatever endeavor that he's doing. And I have to say, both guys are immensely jealous of Craig because Craig has a tangible business, it's profitable, he's doing multiple things. He's invested in other companies. And yes, Chef gets mailbox money and he comes from money and all those things. And Chef has a couple bars and he's doing okay. I mean, better than me, but Austin is like a facade. Whereas like Shep, that is truly who he is. I think he's a narcissist. I think he doesn't give a fuck. And I think that he lacks severe emotional intelligence, can't grow up out of whatever phase this is. He has severe anxiety, and but also he'll always be set up because of who his family is. His family built South Carolina,
Yeah. But
so like he'll be fine.
But I do think that in a way where Craig is wrong, I appreciate where he's going and trying to cut them off, but if he is trying to be friends with them, he does need to make the effort. And I think that's what Austin
Yeah.
was trying to say. He was saying, "Oh, we do the podcast and we meet for this," but that is business. That's different from checking in with your friends. So if you're not interested, then cut it off completely rather than trying to be like, "Well, you could come in here and not do that." But I do agree that they are jealous of him, but he needs to find a balance. Craig can be very self-righteous sometimes.
Yes, no, and I agree with you, but at the same time, like, we're adults now. We're not like in high school, we're not in college, we're not post grad. Like, we have things going on. Like, sometimes filming a weekly episode podcast with my co-host slash friend is the only catch up I get to do with my co-host slash friend. Like,
Mhm.
that's our quality time. Like, if you wanted something else, like it does go both ways. Like, let's go to brunch, come over, let's do something that doesn't involve drinking if you know that I'm not in that phase of my life. And I'm not saying bow down to me, but let's find like a common ground. Like when they went golfing, I like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? When they did that virtual golf, and like you can drink if you want, and Craig didn't, and I don't think JT did, or one of them didn't drink. And like that's fine. You're doing an activity, you're doing quality time, and then you're moving on. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it went perfect, but do you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're busy as adults, and I can't cater to like a needy friendship. And yes, I agree with you. It takes it's a two-way street. Like Craig needs to bend and meet halfway and do things that he doesn't want to because he cares about Austin and the friendship. But same way with Austin, he needs to realize that Craig is in a different phase. He wants marriage, he wants kids. He doesn't necessarily want to marry Paige. I think he wants to marry anybody. But Austin, I don't think wants to be married and have kids, and he barely just got another girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like two completely different phases of their life. And I think Austin is having a hard time watching his friend like leave him in the dust, almost like emotionally abandon him, it feels,
Yeah.
then realize that is still his friend and he's just at a different phase, and we have to find a common ground to like build our friendship, you know what I mean, in
Yeah.
this new space.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the show is still entertaining. I don't like the way, is it Rodney? Rodney's the one who cuddles Taylor to me, and I'm just like, I feel like they're
Is
doing her.
that Rodrigo?
Yes. Sorry, why am I
Rodrigo.
saying Rodney? Rodrigo.
Because Rod, no, because Rod and then Rodrigo. I knew what you were saying.
Okay.
Okay, but
Okay.
don't you love Leva?
No, she adds nothing. She's like the Vanderpump of the
No, she
show.
adds, okay, I agree. She adds nothing to Southern Charm. But when I started watching Southern Hospitality, I was like, wait, she does like so much behind the scenes. And like she does have a bigger quote role on Southern Hospitality because it is her show. But, and I was literally like, I mean, I'm sure I have tweets like, like, why is Love here? Like, love you, don't know why you're here. Like, you're not adding anything. But it's because I think she's so busy with all of her businesses and then the other show that she's like producing or running or whatever, and then like you can't really, she doesn't have time to like go meet up with these antics, you
Yes,
know
and
what I'm saying?
that's why I really don't like, I don't hate her, I don't love her because she's
Yeah.
really there to promote her businesses. There are a lot of, or there's some Bravo celebrities that are that way. They're just there to
Hmm.
promote their businesses but not
Hmm.
really participate in the show. She is a little messy, but because she gives mature aura, I think she gets away with it. Because there was a season she was
Mm.
particularly messy, just saying stuff on there. But
Yeah.
yeah. But let's wrap up with Southern Hospitality, the little spin-off
Yes.
that could. As soon as I
Okay.
saw the first few episodes, I'm like, yeah, they're getting a season two. Like
Yeah,
it's gonna
hooked.
be
I
on there.
binged it over New Year's Eve,
Oh.
New Year's Day. I was like, I know what I'm doing. And then I immediately watched, because I was getting ready for the season 3 premiere. I'm extremely annoyed. Can I start this? Because as somebody who watched all 3 seasons back to back, I'm annoyed that they open with season 3. Oh my god! And it's Maddie. I love like everybody on there, like whatever. But Maddie, oh my god! So now I'm dating Joe Bradley, and me and Brad are friends again, and this and that, and blah blah blah. We're not gonna address that you completely made up season 2 and like the rumor with Brad and et cetera. Like what is going on? Because now we're just shifting to Emmy and Will. Like
Yeah.
I still have so many unanswered questions actually from season 2.
It comes with the territory, isn't it? They just come here, they're terrible people. I famously said in the past that the worst cast ever was Vanderpump Rules cast and Shaws of Sunset. They're just
Oh my
terrible
god, I
people.
love Shaw's
So good
though.
shows, but they're really, really terrible people. And I just
Yeah.
assume that Southern Hospitality is the same thing. And then when you add their age, they're kind of youngish and they're all doing whatever they can to keep this show going because it's a second stream of income. Because
Hmm.
Mia is not even around and somehow has been FaceTiming in just to
I
keep her
know.
spot on
Wait, I
there.
loved her though. She's
So,
so stunning, is she not?
so
I'm
she's
just
so
like,
pretty.
oh my
But
gosh.
also not adding anything. So now she's done the pageant. I don't know if she's coming back, but
Mm.
good for her if she's able to keep her role. I do find that TJ is very messy, but I think TJ's messiness comes from being lonely. He's
And
mentioned
insecure.
how hard it is to date, being a gay man in his area. And wait, what's the problem?
I I have like a lot of gay friends and I live in the South as well. And Rodrigo has a husband.
I mean,
Um,
there are exceptions, but it could be generally hard. Like, first of all, it's already hard to find a good person, even as a straight person.
I
Now
agree.
your pool is
Oh,
smaller, and a lot. What did he say? It's a lot of down low men that come out there
yeah,
because it's the South and it's all that. So I can
absolutely.
imagine that it's much more. Even Mickles, am I saying his name right?
Michaels. I say
Michaels.
Michaels too. It's Michaels. Michaels. Yes.
Michaels said, the same thing, and his is worse because it's kind of like a fetish for them because
Yeah.
he's not white. So then they think and he's gorgeous. That boy is
Yes.
gorgeous.
Okay, but here's my thing with JT. I'm sorry, TJ,
TJ.
which I hate. Oh my lord. Anyways, TJ. Okay. One, I think he's creepy. Two, he's 10 years older than Michaels, and he's out here playing these very weird, insecure games of, oh, I'm gonna kiss you, and then, oh, I'm not, and and now I'm upset, but you don't know that upset because I'm not communicating anything to you and have ghosted you, but now I'm upset at your own birthday party because you're making out with another guy, and now I'm gonna go buy you a drink and all of this and just give you all of the mixed signals. And I don't discredit TJ for saying, like, it is hard. It's hard dating in general. And of course, you add the layers on there. But something about TJ is off to me about, I think well, the whole thing with him and Joe Bradley is weird. I think he's sabotaging every single relationship that Joe Bradley has. If you say that your best friend is Danielle, and then you go on Watch What Happens Live and you out Joe Bradley, and in turn hurting your like good friend Danielle from Summer House that Joe Bradley slept with Luann. Second of all, he's like talking about how he like is in love with Joe Bradley, and I thought at first that was like a joke, like, oh, I love you, dude, like I'm in love with you, or like whatever. And no, I think that is true. And I just think TJ needs to go to therapy, and I think
Yeah.
that he has a lot of deep rooted insecurity and like personal issues that has nothing
Hmm.
to do with like being gay or dating, like, or maybe being gay, but like dating in the South. You know what I mean? Like, that's another layer. Like, because Michaels is not having that problem. He's out there having fun and making. Mikkel is not having that problem. Like, he's I'm not saying they're not in relationships, but, and I'm not saying it's not hard, but I'm saying Mikkel is trying. Mikkel is being authentic. Michaels is trying. He's like, no, TJ, I don't accept this. And TJ's playing the victim. And I don't like that TJ is playing the victim and this card about, oh, well, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. He's just insecure. Something's off. Something's off
No,
with
I
him for
get that's
me.
what I mean. Like, I think it comes from that loneliness which he needs to unpack. And instead of
Yeah,
blaming every single person, look into yourself and see what you can do within yourself that might make you attract somebody. And you yourself, why are you going after men that are married? Because you know that they're not going to leave their wives for you,
and they're
or
not
unavailable men, not married.
unavailable. I
Because
was about
Mickles
to
is
say
is not
unavailable.
available, is gay, but he's not married. But stop going for people. It's a self-esteem thing. Something's going on with him. You're right that he needs to unpack. The whole thing with Joe Bradley is a little weird because it feels like they're talking around it. I don't like when they do that. I don't think that my reality shows should feel like homework. I don't want to decipher what you're talking about. We
Yeah,
had
I'm
a
supposed to
moment.
like
What
be
is the
numb
range of
or
the
my numb.
moment? I tugged on
Here's an
something, we kissed, there was
something.
penetration. What is the moment? I need to know. There's a
Just tell
spectrum.
us. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I agree. And also, I think there's another layer of like the fact that TJ, and only, I'm only saying this on the spectrum of Southern hospitality. He could have way more other friends that, are not on the show we don't know about, but that he's only hanging out with straight men. And
Hmm.
I think he feels insecure and like inferior to that, where he tries to be a bro and he tries to be friends, but then he's also kind of attracted to some people, and then but he wants Michaels, but now Michaels is his boss and he's younger. Like, I just think he doesn't fit in, and and not that he doesn't fit into the group. I just think he has that layer that he needs to unpack. I think there's an insecurity that he doesn't fit in, and he doesn't feel valued, and he doesn't feel worthy of like having friend. He doesn't feel confident in just being friends with somebody because he's like, oh, well, this is how like a straight man is supposed to be acting. and like me as like a gay man hanging with straight guys, like, all right, bro, like, but like he does like some inauthentic things when he's around the guys. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah. So, and I think that falls under the umbrella of the whole thing that he needs to unpack. He's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
living his authentic life right
But
now.
do you think they hooked up?
I think it was oh, see, hooked up is also broad. Okay, I think there was no penetration. I think there was a rubber tub. I think there was maybe a kiss. There was some touching of some kind. And I don't know. This is like a Carl. Do you remember Carl in Summer House?
Oh my god. What do you mean?
But
Do I
see,
remember
they
Carl?
but see, this is the thing. They didn't tell us it was a moment. He
But
flat out
Carl is
said
closeted,
he
okay?
gave
Carl
him
is gay.
he could be bi, you know. I don't want to place him in whatever unless he says it himself, but
I
at,
know. I
at
just
least they flat out told us, like, he was like, "Oh, there was some sucking involved. We know what it is." Here, I
yeah.
think the other extra is like Maddie's involved. How much does Maddie know? Because they haven't given a confessional of Maddie saying or addressing, "I'm in love with you. We had a moment on the bed," except the one time where she said, sorry guys, for people who don't like cursing, you can close your, it's kind of crass. She says he loves pussy.
Oh
So
yeah,
i
yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
i don't know what she knows, or what is this a whole PR stunt to be like, no, I'm not, or what, like, living your truth,
And
people.
also when she was like, "Well, I avoided Joe Bradley for years to not date him because I thought he was gay because TJ told everybody that he was gay." But I think Joe is like a really nice guy. And I don't think Joe lacks confidence, but I think he's just kind of a dumb guy who like, and I think TJ is out here like ruining Joe's reputation, whether it's true or not. And I think Joe is kind of forgiving, and he's just like, oh, that's weird. That's like, why would my friend do that? Like, unfortunately for me, I do have friends like that where I'm like, huh, why did my friend do that? Like, if you think about it after, like,
Hmm.
and you just, I don't know if it's like you're blind to the love, if you're not that deep in the friendship. I don't know
He
what
could just be
really
scared of the secrets that TJ has.
do what.
He could be scared of the secrets that TJ knows.
That too, and I think that's why the whole watch what happens live thing happened so or like cut Joe so deeply, is because he was like, I just can't believe that he would get like he would say that secret. I mean, yeah, okay, you cheated, whatever. Like I feel like everybody's like, yeah, you fucked Luann, like that's iconic, and like Joe's the only one like super pissed about it. You know
Well,
what I
because he
mean?
had somebody else, Danielle.
No, I know, but I mean still like,
So he was trying to be like a
yeah,
good guy
a good
when
guy to
he's
be like,
not
I didn't cheat.
a good
Yeah.
guy, yeah. And I think it's just TJ repeating the same cycles. You see someone who's
Mm-hmm.
unavailable, he's into Maddie, and you're jealous of that because, once
Mm-hmm.
again, you're the bridesmaid and not the one being picked. Just let it be. It's not going to solve anything. But let's wrap it up with Emmy. What is going on with Emmy? And it's so funny because Emmy gave Maddie that whole talk last season. We're just worried you're okay. Like, even your body, you're this, you're right. And then we come back this season and I had to be like, is this Emmy? Like, what is happening? And something is going on.
Emmy deserves an Emmy. I mean, she's acting. She's clocked in. The whole dress of it all. And I've seen the memes of this most recent episode with the mascara running. Babe, I've never had mascara run like that. And I cry all the time. Like, what mascara are you using? And her and Erica Jane. Like, what's going on there, guys? Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm also like in an Emmy and Will love bubble. And I'm like, the girl just like wants her dream. And I do think they're pretty perfect for each other, astrology speaking. Just listen, because I think their charts match. And I'm like an astrology girly, but I, he hates her. He hates her. But I
He
mean,
does. He
again, if
does.
she wants to be with him, like if you want to be with somebody who talks about you like that, I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do? Me pulling you aside and like, everybody ganged up on Maddie last year with the whole Trevor thing, and look how that turned out for the group. She was like, I'm choosing my boyfriend, and like ditched all of her friends, and then finally broke up with him, and then was back in the friend group and friends with Brad again and all these things. So I don't know. It's always gonna alienate the person. I don't think it's ever going to work out in the way and in the favor that we, as good friends looking out for our friend, thinks that it's going to come out. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I think the issue with Maddie is like, sorry, the issue with Emmy is that it's not just the whole thing with Will. I think we've all accepted. Mia tried how many seasons ago? She just wants
Yeah.
to be a lawyer's wife. That's fine. But even
Hmm.
physically, she looks frantic. She's obsessively like working out. It seems like
Obsessively
a
working out.
nervous thing, like you're carrying something that you can't handle. And I think
Hmm.
that's what the concern is, that they don't want to flat out say on TV, because that's a huge, heavy thing to put out there. Because if it's just a will thing, honestly, I'm sure they knew before we even met them on the show.
Right.
She's just committed. She's just like, I don't know anything. Don't tell me nothing. And like, I know all the things and all that stuff, because when in the latest episode where they tell her again, she goes and complains to Will, and she's mad at everyone else and not Will, who actually
Not
said
him.
it, who's your
Hmm.
actual boyfriend, who doesn't seem to care about you. So that's the part where I'm like, I hope she's okay, because even when she's speaking, her eyes are like wide open and she's just like shaking, and I'm like, wow.
I think she has a lot of anxiety and pressure also, like being on TV. And I don't know if she got hate last year. I mean, I thought she everybody looks fine. But if it's like, oh, you know how women are on,
Hmm.
or like get a lot of pressure around TV, and like, oh, you
Yeah.
don't look like this, and why is he with you? Like, so, and I think it's also her being so codependent on Will, and then them just kind of cold turkeying, not seeing each other. She didn't know what to do with her time, so she went to the gym. She said she was running 3 miles a day, then doing a high impact, low impact. She was there half the day, then going to work. And you're working weird hours from like 4 to 2 a.m. or some 3 a.m. Probably not that time, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's open that, so you're probably there from like 6 to 3
Yeah.
a.m. And then are you sleeping good, and you're sleeping till 11, and then you do it again. It's like, I don't know. It's, yeah, something is up. I do agree. The way that she has cut down so significantly in
Yeah.
such a short amount of time. I heard the lie come out of my mouth. I like never go to the gym, but I don't know. I feel like the way that she was, and I'm not accusing her of being on anything. I think she was in the gym every waking moment, and like
Yeah.
not getting the most nutrition. I don't know if it's even, I don't even think she has, I'm not even going to speculate about an eating disorder, because she could be eating 10 Big Macs, but if you're literally working out like that, like you're not going to like retain any of the nutrition,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a bit worried about her.
Yeah.
And the way that she's like overreacting so much, like,
Hmm.
I would never do that. I would never do that. Do you think I'm gonna use my discount? And I'm just like, babe, that was like an overreaction. Like,
Yeah,
whoo, let's
she
take a
had
breath.
another one. Michael
With
had to
the
tell him. He was like, "Relax," and she was just like losing her shit. But well, Rhea, thank
Yes,
you. This was fun. Just like chit chatting. I'm curious to see how Traders ends. Curious to see if any of your winners picks make it
yeah,
to the end, and curious to see how Emmy ends up by the end of the season. They're still together, right? Emmy and Will are still
yeah,
together, because we'd know
yeah,
if
I
they'd
believe
broken up
so.
or not.
Yeah,
She's never
yeah, we
giving up.
would know. I feel like
Yeah, and I think
it
he's
would.
probably like hoping she breaks it off, but she's never gonna break it off.
She's
But
never going to.
can you share with people where they can find you?
Yes, please follow, rate, subscribe, listen anywhere you get Apple Podcasts, Coffee Meets Vodka on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok for as long as it'll be here at coffee.meets.vodka. And I have new pop culture episodes every Thursday.
You heard it, guys. Well, you know where to find me. It's Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, also called Maths. Please give me a 5-star rating anywhere you listen to podcasts, and look out for the next episode of Maths next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.